We're gonna do every single one of these things on this list today. What is up, YouTube? Tommy Shane Smith here. If you remember, a couple of months ago on my Instagram, I ran a contest, and that contest was I had a whole week in Europe that I had no idea what to do with, and I was racking my brain, and I finally realized, why am I trying to decide? Let's let YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook decide, and y'all did. And today is the start of that trip because I'm here in Galway, Ireland, which I am so excited and pumped to be here because the weather is actually hoodie weather. It's raining a little bit. I love this so much. So I'm excited to be here, and thank you for sending me here and not someplace where it's hot. Today is a major milestone for me, which is my 30th country, which means I'm 3/5 of the way to reaching my goal of visiting 50 countries before I turn 30, and I've got 3 years to do it, which means I can do like one country every 2 months on average. I'll be super fine. So I'm stoked. Everybody told me Galway was incredible, and so today we're gonna take a walk through the city and figure out what everybody was talking about. So let's do it. I don't have a lot of time in this city, so first stop is the tourist office because they know everything.
You really enjoy this, as normally.
They gave me this cool little map of the city, bus, just total curb checked, and they also gave me this awesome little sheet full of all random facts about all the little landmarks in the city, which is the same stuff that a tour guide would have told you. So, self-guided tour today. So there's a big park in the middle of the city called Eyre Square. I think that's how you say it. It's actually officially called John F. Kennedy Park because JFK actually gave a speech here just a couple of months before he was shot. Is it bad that I had to come all the way to Ireland to figure out that the F in JFK stood for Fitzgerald? Because I just now learned that, so. Go history. Now, this right here is the Quincentennial Fountain. It was designed by Eamon O'Dowtry in 1984 to commemorate the 500th year of Galway as a city, as a borough with mayoral status. So it's pretty much a big deal. I think my favorite thing about right here is that the rusting sails symbolize the sails of the Cladog fishing fleet, the famous Galway hookers. Now the Galway hookers are not like a red light Amsterdam, Las Vegas kind of thing. They're actually just a fleet of famous fishing boats. So don't get any like crazy ideas when you come here. And this giant thing is called the Brown Doorway, which was a part of the Brown family mansion, and the Browns were one of the 14 tribes that ruled Galway in the medieval times, and they actually took it from their mansion house castle thing and they moved it to a different part of town and moved it here when that all went away. So it's just a giant 400-something-year-old medieval door. Okay, that was that. And these statues are of Oscar and Edward Wilde. Oscar was Irish and Edward was Estonian, and this sculpture is an imagining of what if the two of them had ever met. So, on to the next one. Galway used to be a walled medieval city, which is interesting. You can see that because in this shopping mall, you've got like the old city wall, and at the end there is the tower, and there's another tower right there as well. Super crazy that there's medieval city walls inside of a shopping mall. This is Lynch's castle that used to belong to one of the tribe's families. Next thing. I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone because usually I travel much more slowly, but because I only have a week in Ireland and there's so much I want to see, I could only spend an afternoon in Galway and before I go do my tour tomorrow, and so I'm committed. We're gonna do every single one of these things on this list today. This is St. Nicholas's Collegiate Church, which is actually the largest continuously used medieval church. In the 1400s, when Christopher Columbus visited Galway, he actually went to church here. And also, apparently this was used as like a base for like a military operation or something once, so apparently there's a lot of history here. They also do a bunch of Irish concerts in the church there too, which is pretty cool. Now this is called Lynch's Window, which is a bit of a double entendre, because in 1493, James Lynch Fitzstephen, he was the local magistrate in the city, and he was known for being very strict. Apparently his son had murdered a Spanish merchant, so he had him hung from the window, or lynched, which is pretty funny when you think about the name. Apparently this is some kind of visitor center for some special kind of local ring jewelry thing. It doesn't sound interesting, so we're gonna go on to the next thing. And then this was the very first place that made that boring ring that I know nothing about, so on to the next thing. So this all right here is the Hall of the Red Earl, which is the oldest excavated building here in Galway, where the earliest parts date to the 1200s. You can't actually go in there without some kind of tour, but apparently it's an old building. And then right across the street from it is some sort of theater that's supposed to be really good for arts and stuff, so. And this is the National Irish Language Theatre called An Tahabidurg. Apparently they do a lot of Gaelic stuff in there. Ran into this nice coffee shop and they had cold brew to go, so. This right here is the Spanish Arch, which is actually one of the most famous, popular tourist attractions in Galway. I actually knew I needed to do it without the dumb piece of paper. These arches were built in 1584 into the city wall, and the arch is right here on the riverbank, and it got the name the Spanish Arch because this was the point on the river where the Spanish merchant ships would come in with all the wine and goods to trade. Super cool part of the city bank here. This is the Galway City Museum, but I think it's too late and I think it's closed, so we're not gonna go in. But you can do that if you want. I just had to see it. That's on the list, right? This statue right here was a gift to the city of Galway from the city of Genoa in Italy to commemorate the 500th anniversary of Christopher Columbus discovering the New World. If you're wondering why any of that makes sense, it doesn't. It's like Christopher Columbus was from Genoa, so Genoa was like, hey, you discovered America 500 years ago, city in Ireland where Christopher Columbus was, here's a gift to you to commemorate our awesome guy doing something great. The whole thing just doesn't make sense, but it's a landmark and it was on the list, so check that off. So the next thing on our list was the Corrib River Walk. Now this is probably so far my favorite thing because this is what I would have been doing for half the day if I wasn't trying to check off a giant list. And you see the Corrib River here in Ireland is actually one of Europe's shortest rivers because it's only 5 miles long and it cuts through the middle of Galway here, and you can see all the old buildings and the architecture and everything else. And what's beautiful is the sun just came out, and as the sun and the sky kind of reflect on the water, it just makes the water that much bluer. Ireland is incredible because it's so green, but the underrated part is how blue the water is here. Yeah, I could dig this. I could really dig this. Now that river walk was nice. Let's counteract that with something boring. This is the Galway Courthouse. It's located between the Town Hall Theatre and the nearby cathedral. The county courthouse was completed in 1818 and features a fine portico and entrance. Local legend has it that the nearby Salmon Weir Bridge was dubbed the Bridge of Sighs when prisoners were led from the courthouse to the then city Galway, where the cathedral now stands. That cathedral. This is the Town Hall Theatre. It used to be the Town Hall, and it used to be the courthouse, and now it's the theater. It's in the name. Now you do theater stuff here. It's really artsy city. This is the Galway Cathedral, which was completed in 1965, making it the youngest of Europe's great stone cathedrals. Thanks for the pro tip. It's supposed to look really, really cool inside, and there's a lot of marble and ornateness, but once again, it's later than it looks and everything's closed. So admire it from the outside. It's beautiful. And this building is the National University of Ireland, Galway, which is this old Tudor-style building. There's 17,000 students that go to school here, but I just like the ivy on the front. I think that's dope. In addition to the river walk, there's also a canal walk not too far away from here, which connects a lake to the bay. And this was made in the 1800s, I guess. Apparently you can kayak in the canal too, so. Seriously, that was so close. Seagull like came that close to pooping on me. Whew, gross. And this is an old Presbyterian church that they turned into a theater. So lots of theaters in Galway. This red door is the Galway Arts Center, which would be cool, but that is also closed. But saw it. And finally, this is the Fishery Watchtower Museum, which is the smallest museum in the city and maybe even the country. That's it. It's supposed to have a really nice view over this, but they also closed really early today. This place of interest actually looks like it's worth going to. They're only open for like 4 or 5 hours every day, so make sure to check the hours. But I have good news. We finished the list. The good news is that I finished the list. I got to see all the places of interest. Even if I didn't get to go to them, I got to at least read about them and kind of see what it looks like from the outside. So I got a good walk around the city, and I got a chance to kind of see the vibe and just a little bit of the history here. It's a very festive city, lots of buskers, lots of entertainment and culture. So my list just went away. It just flew into the river. Good thing I finished it. If you come to Galway, I would suggest that you get started really early in the morning. If you're gonna do just a day here, walking up and down the river is perfect. The city's beautiful, but now that I've finished the list and I don't have to worry about that anymore, I'm gonna do what I would have done if I was gonna stay here for a week, and that's just sit on a riverbank. And this is one of my favorite things to do really in any city. I like to just sit on the water and enjoy it. So I'm gonna sit here for a little bit. I'm gonna go grab dinner in the pub, and then I'm gonna get some rest because I've got a busy morning tomorrow where we're gonna catch the cliffs and the Aran Islands, and I'm gonna take you along. So thank you again for sending me here because the weather is fantastic. 30 countries down, 20 to go. I'm loving it. I'm loving you. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did and you want to watch more videos like it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to see more of my travels, go ahead and watch this video right here. So thanks a bunch. Travel on.